Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in this great state of Kansas. And today I'm continuing my list of top 100 favorite albums that I've been doing for a while now. I'm down to now number 53 on my list. And this is definitely a pretty huge album, pretty popular album. If Rich Strickler is watching this, I'm sure he has his album much higher on his list of favorite albums. I think this is one of his favorite. And the album's called Hotel California by the band Eagles. And Rich is a big fan of Eagles, so I know he knows a lot more about this than I do. I'm a huge Eagles fan. I mean, love their music. They have this great. I love bands with harmonies, and Eagles to me have one of the best harmonies groups I've heard, and also a band that has really great. I love their easygoing music probably more. Like I said, I love the great harmonies and the easygoing music, but yet they can do some rock music really well too. I think the guitar playing is absolutely amazing. Some of my favorite guitar players, including Joe Walsh and Don Felder, who play at this time. Joe Walsh, I think, is one of my favorite guitar players of all time. Absolutely amazing guitar work on the album. So it's a great combination of great vocals, harmonization, great musicianship, great songwriting too, I think. So Eagles is one of those maybe top 10 favorite bands of all time. And this is, like I said, this is, I would say, the biggest album, not including their greatest hits album, which is like the greatest, biggest selling album of all time, or one of them. But just regular albums. This is definitely like their biggest album and most popular one. It came out in 1976. It's their fifth studio album. Also, the Eagles, they kind of trying to describe them. I've heard described they're kind of more. They have a country feel and a rock feel to them. So they're kind of. And I'm not a country fans, but I can kind of sense they do have maybe a little bit country feel to them at some points. They like to sing about kind of more old Western themes sometimes. But to me, they're good, just rock, pop. They got some pop and rock sounds to them that are really good. And I really love that combination of the two. And they do the best, I think. This it's a huge album, charted number 1 in the U.S., number 2 in the U.K. It's 26 times platinum, which is absolutely huge. I mean, it's definitely one of the biggest selling albums of all time. It's their biggest selling album that they ever made, not including their greatest hits. Last time I did Led Zeppelin 2, and that was 12 times platinum, which I thought was pretty good, 12 times platinum. This is 26 times platinum, so I was looking at this, I was like, wow, this is like double what Led Zeppelin 2 did, and I thought that was a pretty good album. This one's, I think I read it was like 32 million copies or whatever, something like that. It was, I mean, incredible amount of albums sold. This is really like the Eagles probably at their peak, late 70s, I would say. They had 3 hit singles off this album, 2 that came number 1 in the U.S. Of course, the big one is Hotel California, number 1 in the U.S., number 8 in the U.K. Definitely the best charting overall. New Kid in Town went number 1 in the U.S., number 20 in the U.K., so that's the other number 1 hit. And then the other hit was Life in the Fast Lane, which only went number 11 in the U.S., so almost top 10, almost 3 top 10s there. Those really 3 main ones I've heard of. When I was listening to the album, I was familiar with those 3 songs because those 3 were pretty, they're on the radio quite a lot on the oldie station for me growing up. So I was pretty familiar with, in fact, New Kid in Town, I didn't know it was an Eagles song until I was like, listening, I was like, oh yeah, I know that song, I've heard it on the radio. I was like, oh yeah, of course, that's an Eagles song. Live in the Fast Lane is a little different. It's their more hard rocking song than most of the other songs are more easygoing, I would say. You know, Hotel California has some great guitar work. Live in Fast Lane has a great riff to it, anyways. So it's one of the more harder rock songs I think that they've done. It was nominated for multiple Grammys. It won 2, including the big one, the Record of the Year. It won. I won another one for New Kid on Town for like best voices, something or other. But I only look at really the big ones to me because Grammys, there's just so many Grammys out there. But it was nominated for Album of the Year. Surprisingly, it didn't win. I didn't see what won, but it didn't win Album of the Year. It was nominated for Producer of the Year and didn't win that one. So, but those are the 2 big. So the 2 big categories it got in. It's like I said, it's considered one of the great albums of all time. Any list you look at, Rolling Stones has number 37 on their 500 greatest albums of all time. I think any 100 albums, you would probably see it there. Goes 53, which seems kind of low, but I don't know. I look at all the albums ahead of it, and all the albums ahead of it are actually, just so good. This is a really good album. In fact, I thought this would probably be higher on my list, but as I was going through it, I put it 53. Still great album. In fact, I have another Eagles album that's just a little bit higher, surprisingly. And I'll talk about that when I get to it. I have two Eagles albums on here. Listening to all the Eagles albums, they're fine. I said only two of them really resonated with me, being really great. Even though their overall song, like if you took all their songs, all their hits, they're definitely one of the greats. I can list like 20 songs that are just so amazing that they've done. Just a little trivia on it, or let's see. Bernie Leadon is replaced by Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh is a fairly new guitar player to the group. He didn't originate with the Eagles. There's a great documentary on the Eagles I saw on Netflix. I'm forgetting what it's called now, but it's a great documentary kind of covering the Eagles through their career and how they get started and how, before, of course, Glenn Frey passed away. It was really great. But Bernie Leadon was a guitar player on there, I guess, before, and Don Felder was on there already. And I guess they loved the two lead guitar player. They loved that sound, so they were looking for another one. They got on Joe Walsh, who I think was just a solo artist at the time, and he came on. And what a great addition to the Eagles is Joe Walsh also playing. And Don Felder is a really good guitar player himself. I mean, so it's amazing having two absolutely fantastic guitar players. And he plays, so many great guitar solos on the album. Joe Walsh, of course, I love because he's from Kansas originally. So I always, every time I see him, I'm like, all right, Kansan. I always love seeing a good Kansan on any list. So really like seeing Joe Walsh there. And what a great look, that long blonde hair. You see him a lot with the headband. I love his look. So that's a little trivia there. If you don't know the Eagles members, like I said, Don Felder, lead guitar, Joe Walsh, lead guitar, two lead guitarists, basically. And then Glenn Frey plays kind of more rhythm guitar, and he does a lot of lead vocals and a lot of the songwriting. And Don Henley plays the drums and does a lot of lead vocals. One of the best drummers to be a lead vocal. Also does a lot of writing. Then Randy Meisner plays bass, and he also does some lead vocals, and he has a great tenor voice, actually. I even love some of the songs that he'll lead on. So it's amazing. And the 4 members, when they sing together, the harmonies are just absolutely amazing. They fit in so well, and why they're so one of my favorite bands. Anyway, so go to my top 3 favorite songs. Like I said, there's 3 really well-known songs on here. The other ones aren't as well-known, but still pretty good overall. And it's not really, I don't think there's that many songs on the album, if I remember right. Number 3, I went with Last Resort. It's one song that's not as known. It's the last song on the album that's sung by Don Henley. And it's a pretty long song. It's like over 7 minutes long. And but I love it. It's kind of I call it a rock ballad. It sounds like just about any rock ballad that Eagles sing, which is so good. It starts off with more piano music with Don Henley singing, and great melody, great vocals. Love the piano, but then the guitars come in and drums come in, and the guitar work is absolutely amazing. The 2 guitars working together. That's why it gets more rock. I said it's more like a ballad, and then it turns to a rock ballad once the guitars come in. Like I said, and it's telling us a story about paradise or something like that, and like how we messed up paradise, I think. Anyways, but yeah, just a really beautiful song. The Last Resort, I recommend. Number 2, I put New Kid in Town. Definitely one of the big hits coming off this album. There's another one, kind of got easygoing sound to it. Just loved the harmonies and the vocals on it, and just a really wonderful sounding song. And it tells kind of a story about this new kid coming in town. Just a great sounding song. And then number 1, I went with kind of the obvious cliched one, Hotel California. One of my favorite songs of theirs, definitely like top 5 favorite Eagles song. Maybe one more rocking songs in a way. But I remember, like I talked about that documentary. I remember one of the interesting parts of that documentary is they talk about how Don Felder would a lot of times you get like a tape recorder out and he would come up with some music on his guitar and he would just play something on his guitar and record it, and then he'd give the recordings to Glenn Frey and Don Henley, because Glenn Frey and Don Henley were kind of like the Lennon McCartney of the group. They were two kind of like the original members that started the group basically, and they're the two really lead singers. They sang most of the leads on the songs, and they also did most of the songwriting. So they definitely were the big powerhouse duo of the group. So a lot of times Don Felder would write music on the guitar, just no lyrics, just guitar stuff, and then give it to them two, and they would listen to it. And if they, heard something that would strike, I guess, lyrics or an idea, then they might take and write around the music, which I think is pretty interesting, to start with guitar and then write the lyrics around that, and compose a whole song. Very interesting, and that's what happened in this case, where he came up with that great beginning of the Hotel California, and Don Henley evidently heard it and really liked it, and then he kind of came up with this whole idea of this hotel. Kind of, it's very kind of mysterious song. It's like you go to this hotel and it's like this great hotel. It looks like it's a lovely place, lovely face, I think it says. It almost seems like this, paradise, place, this great hotel. And of course, you're in California, so I mentioned it's warm, there's beaches or whatever. Anyway, so it's like this, great place, but then it ends with, you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. So it almost turns into a Twilight Zone to me. I always picture it like a Twilight Zone, like it seems really nice, but then you're like trapped or something. I don't know, you can't leave. So I'm not sure what it's about, but overall the lyrics are pretty interesting to listen to. Kind of almost tells a story, this hotel. One of the great choruses, I think. Welcome to the Hotel California, such a lovely place, and the guitars. I don't know, love the guitar work on that, but just catchy chorus that you just love this. I love to sing to, and overall Don Henley's vocals are really good. I love his vocals. Of course, he's a good drummer too. Love the drumming, love the vocals. Great combination there. And then to kick it all off, the reason why I love this song so much is it ends with a guitar solo, but with two guitars playing at the same time. Absolutely amazing. One of my favorite guitar solos of all time. Listening to Joe Walsh and Don Felder play, they kind of, one plays a little bit and then the other one plays a little bit. They kind of go back and forth on the guitar solo. And then they end it with both of them doing the guitar solo at the same time, hitting the slightly different notes, maybe just scaled up or down, but playing them basically note for note the same. And it's just absolutely amazing. I absolutely love that guitar solo, and I love that they end it on a guitar solo because it just blows you away when you hear that last guitar solo. It's even funner watching it on YouTube. There's a really good YouTube video of them at a concert. Joe Walsh and Don Felder at the end playing that, and you see them, and they're just looking at each other as they're just, man, so into that guitar solo, and you're just like, wow, those are two absolutely amazing guitar players, and that's such a treat to watch. And I don't know too many songs that have that. Two guitar players playing at the same time, the guitar solo, and just sounding so in sync and so amazing. Anyways, I use amazing a lot because I don't know how to explain it, but love that so much about that song, and just really caps a really good song already, like I said, into one of the greats in my opinion. That's why Hotel California #1 on the album Hotel California. Anyway, so that's my review of Hotel California, number 53 on my list. So feel free to comment. What do you think? Is that one of your favorite albums? Do you like the Eagles? Any albums you like more? Where would you put on your list? All that. Anyways, love to hear, especially if Rich Tickler's watching this. Love to hear his comments. I know he knows a lot about the Eagles. Anyway, so thank you for watching. Thank you for liking the video. And just thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate all of you. Have a good day.